Alright, here we have the G-Shock GAB2100-1A. I originally didn't have plans to buy any more G-Shocks, but last Christmas, Santa was good to your boy, and by Santa, I mean my family, and by my family, I mean me. Scooped it during Black Friday. Anyways, this one is interesting to me for a few reasons. If you're into watches at all, there's a good chance you've heard of this model. People call it the Casio Oak, due to it bearing a similar appearance to AP's Royal Oak. But the case shape wasn't the attractor for me. It's actually the case dimensions. I've always liked the idea of an analog G-Shock, but most of them are too big and bulky. I used to have a GA110 that I sold for this reason. Plus, they tend to visually have a lot going on, way more than what's necessary in my opinion. The Casio, on the other hand, measures at 11.9 millimeters thick. That's thin, very thin for G-Shock standards. It's even thinner than the GW Square. It's honestly weird having a G-Shock with this kind of profile. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And the dial is very clean. Part of the frame is made of resin embedded with carbon fiber. I've never had any issues with G-Shocks breaking, but that's pretty cool. The band also looks like the one on the GW Square. I don't have the tools to measure, but apparently they're both 16 millimeters at the lug, so it wouldn't surprise me if this is in fact the same band. Although this model does have a quick-release spring bar, which is nice. It's also recessed enough into the band that I wouldn't worry about it accidentally loosening while wearing it. The band itself is very pliable out of the box. One of the colorways of this line came with a plastic buckle instead of a metal one, which is pretty bullshit at this price point, but this one is okay. Canada has always had pretty ass stock, so we don't get a whole lot of options. I might have gone for yellow if it was still available. The watch is lighter than I thought it would be. It feels significantly lighter than a GW2100, for example. This is a relatively small G-Shock, and the band actually sits pretty close to the wrist compared to something like the 6900 series, where the case causes the band to sort of poof outwards away from the wrist. These two little ridges will dig into your arm if you set it too tight, and I think for my wrist personally, I'm stuck in between two of the adjustment holes. I wear it around on the looser setting, and it's honestly been fine. Sizing may be a problem for some people, so if you can, try to find a place where you can try this model on. The 2100 series added tough solar and Bluetooth technology in what are known as the GAB variants. Lack of solar charging is one of the reasons I didn't jump on the original Casio. Then there's Bluetooth instead of multiband 6, which is okay. I personally would have preferred multiband, as I live in a place that can reliably sync with the tower. What Bluetooth does is let you manually sync through the Casio watch app. Here's the manual that comes with the watch. Remember when they used to be little books? I feel like a pirate unraveling this thing. Anyways, you can go online and find the digital version instead, which will walk you through the setup. It's a bit of work, but as long as you follow the instructions, it's not all that complicated. Honestly, figuring out the permission settings on my phone needed to allow the app to sync was more confusing. At least with quartz accuracy, you won't need to use the app too often. The non-Bluetooth Casio uses this indicator to point at the day of the week. On the GAB variants, it displays the charge level in standard timekeeping mode, but will otherwise display the current function when you switch to it. If I had to choose, I probably would have gone with the day indicator instead. The hands have a decent amount of lume, but I wish the indices were lumed as well. There's no seconds hand, but that's not a big deal to me. The watch does have a backlight, or I guess in this case a front light. It's a pretty strong LED, more than adequate for low light usage. The other features are pretty common for G-Shocks, such as whirl time, a stopwatch, a timer, and an alarm. They're a bit hard to use since you're limited to this little screen in the corner. But I have a feeling if you are after this watch, these functions aren't exactly at the forefront of reasons you're buying it. Despite all the good things I've heard about this model, I was somehow still surprised by it. It's got a tremendous form factor with the ruggedness that comes with the brand. An affordable, pleasant-looking digi-analogue made even better with the addition of solar charging and Bluetooth sync. Of G-Shock's current offerings, I'd say this is one of their best, and hopefully, it sticks around for a long time. Thanks for watching.